Hello and welcome to all of those viewers joining us on NewsX and India News and of course our digital platforms, and welcome to all of you who are with us at this beautiful beachside property of Juhu Hotel. The waves, the winds are blowing, the sun is shining, but we have a star in our midst in the daytime itself, in Rasika Dugal. So welcome and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Very happy to be here.
No, very deserved introduction, Rasika. Firstly, congratulations to you for winning the NewsX Shakti Award 2023 for excellence in cinema. How does it feel, firstly? What's your first reaction?
Thank you so much. It's very encouraging. It's been a couple of very good years for all of us as actors, and I'm so glad that the work is being watched and the work resonates with people, and it's always so rewarding, but it's very nice to have this kind of a reward also.
Yes. Since it is the Shakti Award, I have to ask you, where do you derive your Shakti from in your daily life?
I think my Shakti comes from my absolute dedication to my work. It is something that's held me in good stead for a very, very long time through long periods of struggle. It's been the absolute obsession, if I may say, and with the work which gives me the strength.
Okay. Also, you know, as far as women are concerned, and there are so many here in our audience, and of course a lot more watching you today through our television and digital platforms, what is that one piece of advice you would like to give them? Because now you're a youth icon, you're a role model for them.
I don't know if you should be taking any of my advice seriously. I've sort of just improvised and found my way around in life. But I think the one thing that I would say is, as Sinatra would say, do it your own way. You know, there is no way to follow. There's no path that you must or must not take. I think be open to improvisation, be brave enough to do that, and you'll find a way. You know, from and have fun along that journey.
Yes, that's also very important. You know, from your performance, of course, in Anwar, you were noticed, but through the years and such amazing performances, but do you believe that truly OTT has been a game changer for your career and for you?
Definitely has. Like you said, Anwar was one of the first. I was still at the Film Institute when I had got that role. I have only 2 scenes in that film, and subsequently I did about 14 films in blink and miss roles. I won't tell you which ones they are. But if you look at my filmography on IMDb, and if you want to watch those films, you can. You'll see I have very, very tiny roles. Somebody had told me when I had just moved to Bombay after completing my acting course at the Film Institute that छोटे रोल मत करना, कोई बड़ा काम नहीं देगा. And मैंने बोला कि ठीक है, आपकी advice तो ठीक है, लेकिन I'll do it my own way. So I don't know how to introduce myself to anybody if not through my work. So I'll do these small parts even if that's not the recipe to success, and I continue to do that, and that's how I got to know people in the business, and many of those people gave me better and bigger work later, so that advice did prove to be wrong, and I'm glad I didn't follow it, but I think the real change actually came with the coming of the streaming services, and I don't think that's because audiences changed, or I don't think that's because anything else significantly changed, but I think the one bottleneck then for good content was that distribution networks believed that good content would not be palpable to a larger audience, and I always believed that they were wrong, and streaming services sort of removed that bottleneck and therefore gave all of us an opportunity to be a part of compelling stories.
Yes. Do you believe also that that has led an impact on the box office as well, you know, on the theatre as well, that audiences have become a bit more discerning, perhaps after the OTT advent and OTT boom that we've seen in the last couple of years?
I think the audiences were always discerning. It's just that we were not taking, the distribution networks were not taking risk enough to give them something which was not formula, you know. So I think they were always ready. They were always as discerning as they are. But also, I think we have to accept that audiences are versatile. It's not that one kind of person watches only one kind of show. You know, there might be somebody who enjoys a soap opera which comes on TV every day, but there might be, and that same person might like to watch telecrime on Netflix, for example.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we kind of stereotype our audiences and tend to believe that one profile of person will watch one kind of work. That's not true, and the streaming services have proved that.
Well, you mentioned Delhi crime, so for those of our viewers who don't know, let me give you some breaking news, although some of you I'm sure know this already, that Delhi crime is all set to come for Delhi crime season 3 as well. So there is season 3 that is there to look forward to.
Yes,
it's
very
coming
excited.
soon. Are you excited?
It's been announced, which means it's not coming soon, which means that they're just researching it. So hopefully sometime this year we are going to start shooting the show. But they should take the time to research it. It's a great show, and it's been, I think season 1 reached the audience that it did, because it was researched for over 4 years, and it dealt with something incredibly sensitive. And Richie Mehta, creator and director, managed to tell the story with immense sensitivity only because he had the time and he made the effort to do the research that a show of that quality requires. So even though it's announced, please don't put any pressure on us to get it out quickly, because we want to do our jobs well.
Yes. And also, you know, we are celebrating, of course, the big Oscar win of The Elephant Whisperers and Natu Natu RRR. But you also, you know, Delhi Crime had won the Emmy as well. So do you believe that, you know, this is something of a pattern now that we're seeing? Earlier it used to be very sporadic. You know, these nominations, Lagan got nominated and then there was such a big gap. But now with your Emmy win for Delhi Crime, now with the Oscars coming home, and interestingly 2 women won that for Elephant Whisperers, Guneet Monga and Kartiki Gonzalez. Do you believe Indian cinema has truly gone global? Is this a good time for us globally?
I think we have. I think we have a presence internationally which is undeniable, and should be, because I think the quality of work that that we produce, I've not seen it. The variety and the quality that we have, I haven't seen it in many other countries, and I think that that should be truly recognized and celebrated. I was talking to a filmmaker friend of mine, and we were talking about how he was shooting an international project, and he said, I need a focus puller who can just pull focus for wherever the camera moves. And the international team turned around and told him, ki ye nahi ho sakta, this can't happen, this is not how it functions. And he said, I've seen it happen in India. And this was in Delhi Crime, because in Delhi Crime we shot, that the style of filmmaking was we did long takes where the camera just moves through rooms and goes to people, and we couldn't have done that with the absolute precision and talent that the focus puller of that show had. So I think we have great technicians and great talent in our country who worked in many difficult situations. So we've sort of know the drill, and we can work our way through many difficult situations, which often filmmaking does require, contrary to what may seem like. So I think we are very well equipped to sort of be positioned well internationally, and it's about time that happened.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, speaking of 3s, you have Delhi Crime 3 now that has been announced. No pressure on them though to release it soon. But you also have another 3, Mirzapur 3. Now, I think uska intezar shayad Delhi Crime 3 se pehle khatam ho jaye.
I think so, but I don't know. They don't tell us anything. So they only.
But has the shooting begun?
We finished shooting the show. We finished shooting last year, and it's been in post-production ever since. And hopefully this year sometime it should be out. I just don't know when, and I can't tell you anything about what happens in that season either.
Of course. But do you believe also that again was a game-changing project, for you and for also that platform Amazon Prime, also for OTT as a whole, Mirzapur?
I think it was. I think it was a very intelligent. It is a very intelligently written show, and I'm always very amused and happily amused to find the way the women characters are written, because they're neither painted as they're neither deified nor are they villainized, which is what used to tend to happen in very formulaic storytelling, and they're shades of everything. So there is an exploration of sexual desire. There is an acknowledgement of a woman as a sexual being, which was the first time I had played a role like that. And at the same time, there is embracing femininity, and those are the things that make the character, the Women of Mirzapur, so beautiful to watch every time. So I'm truly proud of the show.
Absolutely. You know, for you, just now looking back, and आजकल women's IPL भी चल रहा है. Which is again another game changer for women. But IPL के बाद, IPL matches के बाद एक पुरस्कार दिया जाता है, game changer of the match. You know, that one player that changed the course of the game for their team. What one or two projects, which one or two projects have been, you believe, the game changing ones for you?
That's difficult.
Or have I mentioned them already in Mirzapur and Delhi Crime?
I think both of them were, but even before that, there was Manto, which might not have reached the kind of audience that Mirzapur did or Delhi Crime did, but I think was a game changer for me in terms of just exploring another level to the quality of work, and that will always be special in my journey, even though that was not as popular as the other work. And before that, even there was a film called Kissa, which is actually about a family in Punjab who raises a girl child as a boy, and it really explores many aspects of gender identity and deals with the sort of loss of identity of a family who is moved during partition. So it's a beautiful, beautiful film which I had done with Irfan, Tiska and Tilotama, such beautiful co-actors to have. So for me, those were in my mind and my head and my journey as a performer very, very important films.
You know, but as far as the women now in the industry are concerned, again, OTT has been a game changer for that as well. There are women-led projects which are coming, but is there still some time to go for in theatres and big screen films for you know, women to get their due in terms of equal pay? I know these are other issues that are often talked about, and also the kind of screen time you know, in commercial projects sometimes that men get. Or do you believe things are changing? No,
I think things have changed a lot, and it's important to sort of celebrate that. Of course, equality is not a destination. It's not like it'll happen overnight, and there's always, there are going to be cyclical patterns to that as well, and we will all have to navigate that and fight harder at certain times and not have to fight so hard at other times. But the fact is that discrimination never really goes, and definitely doesn't go overnight. So there'll always be battles to fight. And I guess true equality when you don't have to sort of make a spectacle out of a woman director or the lead actor of a film being a woman. But I don't think we are there yet, where it's so normalized that it happens every time. No, it's still unfortunately a spectacle of bravery, but up until the time that it becomes more regular, I think it's important to sort of highlight those victories, not small, but those victories also, so that they encourage other people to sort of try and achieve the same. But I think, yeah, there are enough films that are being written, and enough which have been successful and watched by audiences, which are headlined by women. In the OTT space, there are several examples, and I think generally this would not be a good time to comment on theatrical releases, because nobody knows what's working and what isn't in that space anymore. But women-led shows, I've done Out of Love, which was a very popular show. Delhi Crime is a women-led show. Jalsa is led by two beautiful actresses and women, which is a film that did very well. So I think we're on the right path, but there's always more to achieve. Now,
as I said earlier, you know, people come to you for advice and say that Rasika Dugal is our icon, our role model. But aapke kaun the? Who were yours in the industry?
I don't have one role model, honestly, but I've admired a lot of women over the years, women actors over the years, women directors. Two are women I've already had the opportunity to work with. One is Nandita Das, who in fact has a film which released yesterday called Zugato. If you haven't seen it, please do watch it. And the other is Meera Nair. I think they've both done path-breaking work, Nandita as an actor and as a director, and Meera, of course, is a complete game changer for all of us, and she's actually put us on the international map in a very big way with Monsoon Wedding and her other films.
And A Suitable Boy.
And A Suitable Boy. But the other actors who I have had a lot of regard for has been I was a huge fan of Sridevi as a child, and I think she's one of the few women who has proved that she can be a great comic actor, and I've always had a lot of regard for that. I think my all-time favorite, if you look at things internationally, is Kate Blanchett. I think she's done some phenomenal work, and I can never forget her Oscar speech for Blue Jasmine, which said that this award proves that that films with women in the center can do well, and in fact they make money.
True. That's a sentiment I think that OTT is also encapsulated, no doubt. But you know, just talking now about your journey, and you were telling us earlier about, you know, film school and Pune, etc. But आप में वो कीड़ा कब आया, कैसे आया कि यही करना है, एक्टर बनना है, from जमशेदपुर to मुंबई, सफर के बारे में थोड़ा बताइए.
Pata nahi, actually. It's very difficult to identify an exact point, but if I have to, I think I grew up in a family which has nothing to do with the arts. Nobody in my family. My father runs a business. My mother used to run a small boutique. My sister is an economist and now an academician who's studying environmental law. So nobody in the immediate family or even extended had anything to do with the arts. They still don't. So I had no reference that this could be a career and this could be a life for me at all. I think the first attraction to performance obviously was in school. I was always on stage. I was one of those kids who was always bunking class to do a rehearsal. And then when I went to Lady Shri Ram College, where I did my graduation in Delhi, I think when I went there, the first 1 month I was sort of hit by this wave of talent, and I didn't know what to do. There were just so many beautiful women around me who were so talented. If somebody was a dancer, they had learned from the best gurus. They had practiced it for many years. If somebody was a singer, they had seriously done that. And I was just this person who was, you know, floating around, and I was like, wow, so this is what people do when they mean that they are performers. They've spent a significant chunk of their life trying to understand this. So that was something which I was quite mesmerized by, and I always thought I'm a little late. I haven't had any one craft that I have had an opportunity to learn properly as a child. So I was a little unsure of myself, and I guess that's why I didn't think of a career in performance, even though I was a very active member of the Dramatic Society, and I totally enjoyed that in my time in Delhi. I used to watch any play that was staged in any part of the city, and I used to take buses and come back to sneak into hostel late at night and do all of this to be able to watch a good theatre show. I then went on to study at Sophia's in Bombay, where I did a beautiful course in social communications media, in which there was a paper in film, and that was my first real introduction to cinema. And I was like, wow, so this entails a lot. It's a single visual that you see on screen is actually a perfect collaboration between on an average 150 people, you know, and it's very difficult to get 150 creative minds to align in that one moment, and just the thought of that was something which was so engaging. So I then applied to in the middle I sort of floated around, and I was an academic research assistant on a project on gender and public space, and I did different things, and then I saw that FTI in Pune was restarting their acting course, and I said, chalo apply kar lete hain. It was that flimsy an idea, you know, it was not. And when I reached FTI the first day, I realized that everybody in my class had come to be a star. And they had been dreaming of this for many, many years, and I was sort of the only one who said, okay, let's try this course for 2 years. But I think if I have to identify the moment when the bug did bite me, I think it was about 3 months or 4 months into the course at FTI, where I realized that this is something I can never have learnt completely. I can never throw my hands up in the air and say mujhe acting aati hai. You know, it can never be that. It's constantly a learning process, and that is something that interested me.
And the constant learning process continues now with filmmaking as well.
Sorry?
And now the constant learning process continues with film production, filmmaking as well.
You mean, do I want to do that?
Yeah.
Not immediately. I think I still have a lot to do. Being a filmmaker is like being God, you know.
Yeah.
It's such a hard job. Being a director is the hardest imaginable job. There are so many energies that you have to take care of. It is such a management project. At the same time, it's such a deeply personal, creative journey, and you are kind of responsible for the entire project. So I don't know if I'll ever be up for that. But yes, of course, all aspects of filmmaking are very interesting to me. So I'm always interested in which camera is being used, which lens is being used, what the lighting.
See, as I said, wo ho sakta hai. You already.
Abhi to nahi. But I'm just interested because it sort of helps you to be more collaborative in a job which definitely requires that. You know, when you know what the other people in the other departments are putting in, you're sort of more in sync with being a good collaborator.
You know, just quickly now talking about what's coming up ahead. Very busy time for Rasika Dugal. Multiple projects this year that she is a part of. Release dates, actors often can't decide, but there's a lot of Rasika Dugal which is lined up. So great news for all of you fans of her. Please tell us something about these projects.
The last year I spent shooting things that it was a year in experimentation. I was a part of genres that I have never been a part of. So I did a sports drama series on volleyball, in which I play a volleyball coach. So I spent a significant part of the last year in between two waves, actually, learning volleyball. So that is something that's called Spike. I don't know when it's going to come out, but that's there. Then there's
and were you sporty in school, or is that something you had to?
No, I wasn't actually. You know how in school you have these who are the drama kids and the sports kids. They seem to be mutually exclusive for some reason. So I was always in the dramatics side of things. So I wasn't sporty at all, but I've always had immense respect for sports people. I think it is the kind of dedication and obsession that you need to be a sports person is something that I've always wanted to try and understand, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do that. I was pretty obsessed with volleyball last year. If I couldn't have any conversation at a party without talking about volleyball, and I would often scan a room and wonder which position I would place that person in according to their height when I was shooting for that show. So then there's also a supernatural thriller with Amazon. It's called Adhura. I've never experimented with horror before. It's a genre that I don't watch because I am very spooked. So I said, chalo, try karke dekhte hain. What would it feel like to act in something like this? Yeah. So those are the two new shows. Of course, there's Mirzapur 3, as you mentioned. There are two independent films which I had a ball doing as an actor because they're very performance heavy. And I had lovely co-actors to work with. So there's Lord Curzon Ki Haveli, and there's a film called Little Thomas. So let's see.
The names are also interesting.
Yeah, I don't know kab kya nikalta hai.
Fairy folk as well.
Oh yeah, that's actually a very interesting project I did with a director friend who I had worked with earlier, and he came home one day and he was talking to me and my husband. My husband's also an actor. His name is Mukul Chadha, and he said, guys, I want to do an improvised film. And we said, okay, what does that mean? So he said, I'll just give you a structure to every scene, but exactly what transpires in that scene we won't know till we are shooting it. Therefore we'll have to shoot the film linearly, which is unlike what films are shot like. Usually films are shot according to the locations and not according to how you finally see them on screen. But he said we'll have to shoot it like that because we don't know what's happened in scene number 3 till we've shot scene number 2. So so we shot the film linearly, and then it's completely improvised, and I had such a ball that I had trouble going back to a written script after that because we just spoke any lines that we wanted to. And the fact, when I watched the film now, it premiered at the Chicago International Film Festival, and when I watch the film now, I really feel that the you know, when we speak in life, it's so random, it's often very illogical, and the film sort of captures the essence of that. The dialogue is the most beautiful dialogue I've ever worked with.
Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, Fairy Folk was screened in Gurugram as well at a film festival recently too. Okay, well, last question then to you. Today's event is called We Women Want Festival. So, what does Rasika want?
An Oscar. Since it's no longer that far-fetched.
Absolutely. Well, let's certainly hope for that. And
thank you to Guneet Monga and Kartiki Gonzalez for paving that path.
Exactly. And I'm sure if you continue on the same path, that day is not very far. Thank you so much once again, Rasika Dugal, for joining us for this very, very interesting conversation. And of course, congratulations to you once again for winning the NewsX Shakti Award 2023.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.